So hi, my name is Abby Eldridge, and I did my preceptorship at Kaiser Permanente. So do you have what it takes? So to start this out, I want to tell a story. So at the beginning of the preceptorship, I had the opportunity to be in adult and family medicine, and I shadowed Dr. Ormsby. And whenever he would introduce me to his patients and tell them, like, she's a high school student, she's shadowing and observing, he would always say, I'm trying to talk her out of medicine, or we're here to show her why she doesn't want to be a doctor. And so at first I was kind of confused and I didn't understand this, and I might be looking way too into it, but I think I kind of am able to connect the dots and kind of start to understand why he said this. So the whole point of the preceptorship was for me to get an understanding, so I was kind of confused why he was like, I'm trying to talk her out of medicine if I'm like, I want to be here. So as I continued the program, obviously I started to understand this more. So I don't think anybody could fully understand this until they are practicing physician, nurse, out of med school, and doing their job working, but I started to be able to connect the dots. So if him telling me the worst parts about medicine, all the reasons why I shouldn't, the horrible, grotesque stories, if that talked me out of it, and that showed me, talked me out of wanting to be a doctor, then clearly I don't have what it takes. Because if I can be so easily persuaded out of going into medicine, then I clearly didn't want it bad enough in the first place. However, this could have taken a very different turn if it only enhanced my choice to go into medicine because I wanted to have these experiences for myself and I wanted to have my own stories to tell and my own little preceptor to scare when they want to go into the medicine world, then maybe I do have what it takes. I have to be honest, this idea never clicked with me like an epiphany. I just kind of came to understand it a little bit over time. But after seeing the podiatry movies, such as someone without a toe, the hysterectomy, and the penile implant, which is definitely something I did not expect to be seeing, I came to understand the idea of persisting despite how unpleasant medicine can sometimes be. So after the first week, I thought that the 5 colonoscopies that I observed would be my undoing, but I actually left that day more interested and excited about gastroenterology than I thought would be possible. And this is actually a picture of me and Brooke that day. It was one of our first days. So we got to wear scrubs, and it was really fun because we actually felt like a doctor, and I felt really professional. And so the medical field is such a physically, mentally, and emotionally draining field. You can't go into it if it isn't something that you're really passionate about pursuing. You can't do it because your parents want you to, or because you like the idea of having a really good salary, because there's other jobs that have great salaries, and there's other reasons to go into other jobs. And you can't do it if you're not completely intrinsically motivated to do it. There are so many different reasons to go into medicine. Everybody's different, so these reasons differ for everybody. But if your motives are extrinsic, then you probably don't have what it takes. In physical therapy, Julie, the physical therapist I observed, Dr. Ten, told me that the reason she loves medicine is because it's like a mystery or a puzzle. You take the clues, the symptoms, and then you use them to solve the puzzle or to find out what the illness or the injury really is. So, and I think it's a huge part of medicine is that mystery, because no one has the right answer and so much is unknown. You can't go check your answer in the back of a textbook or have someone else use the formula just to double check, because you have to have a lot of trust in yourself and you have to and it's really difficult because no one knows the right answer in a lot of situations. You have to trust yourself and your ability to make a diagnosis or a diagnosis, which I think is really hard for some people to put that trust in themselves and to fully believe in themselves and their capabilities. And I think this is also a reason for me that med school and residency seems really fun, because you're not only a doctor solving a puzzle of a patient, but you're the resident solving the mystery of where do I want to continue my career? Is this the right place for me? And who am I in the big world of medicine? Because you're not only learning about what it takes to be a doctor, but you're learning about what it takes to be yourself and yourself in the medical world. So, what does it take to be a doctor? I don't know if I can give you the perfect answer because I'm only a high school student and I'm still trying to learn this for myself, but after observing a bunch of doctors, nurses, everybody in the medicine field, asking them this question, and I reached out to a lot of people through email to also see how they could summarize it when given the chance to really think about it. I was able to comprise a pretty basic list. So first off, you need passion. You cannot be a good doctor if you don't love what you do. And I think this applies to any profession. You can't do a good job at it if you don't truly love what you're doing. And like my anecdote, if you're really turned off by all the reasons why you shouldn't, go into medicine, then the reasons why you should won't matter as much because the negative outweighs the positives. You have to love what you do in order to be good at it, and you give up so much of your life for the job in medicine, like vacations, family, time with friends, you miss birthdays, holidays. And for what? Like studying, sitting in a library, like you're doing nothing when it compares to like going to Hawaii with your family. But in the end, it really works out because not only are you doing something amazing by helping people and trying to help them get better, but you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about. And this is what I repetitively saw from each and every nurse, doctor, surgeon, medical assistant, nurse tech, everybody that I had the privilege to observe, and I could go on. They repetitively showed passion for what they do. They put so much time, effort, and care into each and every patient every single time. They truly embodied what it means to me to be a doctor. Second of all, you have to be curious. Medicine is a developing science, and it's always changing, and no one can ever really know everything. You can't provide your patients with the best possible care if you don't know every possible outcome in order to choose the best one. In adult and family medicine, again, Dr. Salazar told me that every so weeks, they have someone come in and like describe their research, and it's always like a med student or like someone they really trust that they're giving them valuable information, but that person always will come in and like explain their research. So these physicians have the best possible knowledge of who they can refer their patients to or what they can prescribe their patients with in order to provide their patients with the best possible care. And then lastly, to be a good doctor, you have to be compassionate. Compassionate and trusting, these concepts are paramount to being successful in the medical field. And I honestly believe that the difference between a decent, good doctor and an amazing doctor is compassion. Because you can go to med school for like however long it takes, 4 years, fellowship, like you can do whatever, learn everything that there is in a textbook, know every possible injury, illness, you can know everything. But if you don't have compassion and this trust, a trusting relationship with your patient, then I truly don't think that you're great at what you do. But if you do have these qualities, if you can understand your patient and put yourself in their shoes and be empathetic, then you truly have the potential to be great. I believe that this is also where trust comes into play, because your patient has to trust you, your knowledge, and your ability to make a decision, as well as that you will do everything that you can to help them get better. So I emailed Dr. Chen, like I said before, because I wanted to ask her about what in her mind is the most important part to be a doctor. And she said that being a doctor means being compassionate, caring, and communicative. The most important part is within your drive, your motivation, and your own willingness to be the best. The academic portion is information and knowledge that you can learn, but these traits, kindness and compassion, cannot be taught. So no matter what career you choose to do, it will be difficult, and you will have to put an effort, and medicine is no exception. Every person that I had the privilege of working with over the past few weeks has taught me so much, and I learned so much more than I thought I was capable of, and it really showed me what it means to be a doctor and what it means to work in medicine and how important and rewarding of a job it is. So, and finally, I would like to end with another quote that I got when I reached out to Ashley Ruff, who I met in the OR in a breast excision. She said this, which I would like to end with because I think it really sums up what it means to be a doctor or what it means to go into medicine. And she said that you sacrifice for strangers you do not know in hopes of providing them with comfort that only you can provide them. Having the intelligence, the skill, the empathy, the patience, and the grit to survive the training to be able to provide patients with healing and comfort